Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Fiennes Return to the Wild, and I'm a dummy because I should have known that it was Fiennes in the first place. We watched a documentary that preceded this by 5 years. This is from 2024. This is brand new. It's one season, but only 2 episodes. This features Joseph Fiennes, an actor who has been in a number of different productions, usually stuff that's very British. Elizabeth, or in some cases, I think he was in the Handmaid's Tale. I haven't watched that yet, but they show an example of that when that came up on screen. I'm like, oh, okay, he's in that. He's been in a number of things. His brother is Ralph Fiennes, who I believe you might know as Voldemort. But this is not about Voldemort. This is about Joseph and getting back out in the wilderness with his cousin Ranulph, and they call him Ran. He's an older guy. There's a lot of Fiennes. The Fiennes family seems to be fairly large, but he, until like 5 years ago, he never really spent any time with that branch of the family. I mean, he's kind of fascinated by him because I'll just call him Ran. He is considered by many the world's greatest explorer, which is not a small title. There's a number of people that could come pretty dang close to having. You could argue who might take that title, but Ranulph, he's traveled every continent in every climate. He has taken on every type of struggle on the water, on the land, on the ice, and the glaciers, and the jungles, and the desert. Did I say the desert already? Because the previous one from 5 years ago was Return to the Nile. And in that, we got to see Joseph being. Usually, his characters. I don't know if he's really a comedic actor. I don't recall him doing a whole lot of comedic stuff, but he's a funny guy. He is. He tells puns and jokes to his older cousin, who sometimes gets them, sometimes doesn't, and that's part of the humor because it's just their interaction and just sort of getting to know a member of your family that you admire. From a distance, in this documentary series, he gets to continue his exploration. It's 5 years later from the time that they traveled along the Nile and throughout Egypt, and just some crazy adventures there. It's been 5 years later, and Ranulph has gotten a bit older, 5 years older, and he's been also diagnosed with Parkinson's. So he's handling that, and Joseph and him are sort of dealing with just exploring a part of Canada, sponsored by Destination Canada, according to that's repeated throughout the show, usually when they come back from commercials or at the very beginning. They head through British Columbia and heading. They're a little bit too old. Well, one Rand's a bit old, and because these rapids, these cliffs, waterfalls, all this stuff is dangerous. Even for when he was doing it originally in the 70s, when he was like 27 years old or something. And Joseph is like, I'm inexperienced. I am not the adventurer my cousin is. So between the two of them, they spend a lot of time exploring different parts of the land, different parts of the adventures Rand has taken before, and you get to see comparative footage of what was filmed way back then with what is going on now for them, and you get to see the challenge that a lot of them faced, and a lot of people other than him have faced over the years, and they sort of just stand nearby certain areas that, are safer for an older gentleman and an inexperienced explorer. So, but the beauty of Canada cannot be denied. It's some astounding, just gorgeous land, nature, and everything else. And they do a little fishing, but a lot of it is really just about in front of this beautiful backdrop, two men getting to know each other better as family and just understanding each other a little bit better. It's kind of nice. So I only watched the first episode of the two. Kind of got the message of it. It's not really my thing. I'm not really a big nature buff, and bears are cool, you know, seeing a bear in the wild, that's kind of cool. And I would love to explore these areas myself, but watching other people do it doesn't really do a whole lot for me. But if this is your thing, obviously, if you appreciate the work that, the acting that Joseph has done, and if you know the work of this man over the decades, where this is a man, okay, they tell this story in the Nile one, and they also tell it in this first episode, the time that he was, I believe it was when he was in Canada, in this British Columbia area, that the water was so cold, like 48 degrees below zero. I don't even know if that's Celsius or Fahrenheit, but it was so cold that he got frostbite. And because he didn't want to wait for the operation the next day, he cut off his own fingertips with a saw. Yeah. In his cabin, just took care of business. Yeah, that's Rand. So he holds up his hands and he's just like, oh yeah, remember this missing those fingers. Yeah. So it's if you're into these kind of adventure things, and it has just a kind of a great tonal quality to it that just says, you know, this is just two guys having a great time, getting to know each other, and getting to know the wilderness and the nature all around them. And the camera work on this, because it's 2024, it's the best you can get. It's not like they got worse as years go on. It's you know, some great drone shots and other things like that from all sorts of angles. And there's humor in this, by the way, as well. Again, because Joseph likes to tell jokes and puns, and sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. So it's always good fun in that case. So definitely worth checking out if you're into nature adventure. So let's pick it. Tomorrow's episode. I got smudges on this. 86. I don't have to scroll very far. Oh my. This is a short. Thank you. I've had a lot of long movies and stuff recently. I mean, this wasn't only... By the way, this was, like I said, 2 episodes, and each of them are 45 minutes long each in 2024. So it's an easy watch. Definitely the kind of thing, if you're not just like focused on it, like, oh my gosh, I need to drink in every detail, although you might want to when it comes to looking at just the beautiful footage of of nature, it's great to put on just in the background. Just, you know, enjoy that way. This is a short starring, I'm pretty sure, Mickey. It's a newer Mickey cartoon, but in, I think, the style of old Mickey. Sort of, I think. I could be completely wrong, but I know it's not an old short. This one is called Get a Horse. So, that's what we're watching next. Get a Horse on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.